To the grid come the cars for race one of the weekend in the Ginetta GT Academy. Everybody with the same type of car, Ginetta G56 GT Academy chassis, run by different teams, and the aim of the series to attract some new drivers into Ginetta racing, whether they've got a bit of experience of categories past or whether they're relative newcomers, like Tom Bowell, for example, who is on pole position for the W2R team. The son of GT champion Sean Balfe, and the car carrying the same colour scheme. And on the outside of the front row, the next part of the Gamble dynasty, because GT racer Tom, touring car and Porsche racer George Gamble's brother is there. That is Harry. He's been a race winner already this season. Mike Taylor starting third on the grid. He's had 5 race wins already this year and leads the championship. There's a rookie class as well as a Chairman's Cup element to the championship. It's going to be a rolling start, and the green flag is waved to release the cars now onto the formation lap. 1 or 2 drivers having raced in other categories before coming into Ginetta racing this season. And these cars that look good, sound good, and have given some very good racing over the course of this season. The championship having got underway at Oulton Park at the start of the year. And for this first of 3 races of the weekend, Tom Balfe, the man that will line up on pole position then, with James Nicholas with him at the front of the grid. Second row is where you find 5 times the race winner Mike Taylor and another 5-time winner James Nicholas alongside. The third row is Jamie Cordell and part of the Tomlinson racing dynasty, Emma Tomlinson, alongside the family that owns Ginetta, of course, the Tomlinsons. Then you've got Julian Wantling, former brick car racer, lining up alongside Gareth Thomas, Mark Ellman and Paul Thomas on the 5th row of the grid, ahead of Ali Jafali, who gets a 5-place grid penalty for behavioural warning point gains. Mike West is alongside him, ahead of Paul Libsey, whose son we've just seen in the Ginetta Junior race. Amy Tomlinson is next, and a sister, ahead of Peter Thompson and Lucy Hodgson to round out the grid. The little C behind people's names is for those who are in the Chairman's Cup, and the drivers in a number of cases are new to Ginetta racing either this year or last. The Chairman's Cup is for drivers aged 45 or older, or who turn 45 this season. Last year's champion Nick White moved on to the Ginetta GT Championship. The most wins in the GTA class, Ravi Ramid, who's now in British GT, and the cars run on this formation lap in grid order. Will get a little bit slower towards the end of it, ready to get themselves into proper formation before the pace car, as it is, will peel into the pit lane, and then we will be in business. Tom Balfe then in the W2R car, one of the rookies on pole position, and Harry Gamble from a good racing family, you're on board with him, lining up on the outside of that front row. New to racing this year, but going nicely. Mike Taylor starting third on the grid, former motorbike racer and event organiser as well, runs his own engineering business, and having organised events for a while, has decided to come back and compete, but now on 4 wheels. And it's James Nicholas alongside him, with a tenuous Ginetta link in the family, and as much as his mum used to have a Ginetta G4 road car many, many moons ago. The link continues now that James Nicholas goes racing one of these modern-day G56s. Jamie Cordell on the 3rd row of the grid for E3 Sport, another of the rookies. And then on the outside of that row, 3rd in the AMPOD of the championship is Emma Tomlinson. We're about to go racing then, as the cars now work their way up towards the timing line. The pace car will dive for the pit lane any moment now. 20 minutes rather than a set number of laps. The race duration, the lights on red at the moment then. The lights will go out if the clerk of the course is happy with the way the grid has formed, and then we can go racing for the first time this weekend. They blast away now, and we'll see who makes the best start then as they accelerate down towards Riches. It's a good getaway by Tom Balfe on the inside of the front row. To the outside line though, Harry Gamble tries to brave it out. He can't get the race lead, but he will fend off Mike Taylor for 2nd place as they accelerate now towards the Wilson hairpin for the first time. So Balfe leads the way. goes from defending the inside to the outside to get the line for the corner. Gamble has a look up the inside. Balfe goes wide. There's contact further back, though, as Gamble is assaulted by, was that Mike Taylor's car? Possibly, I think it was. So that's done damage, as you can see, to the front right corner of Taylor and also to the rear of Gamble's car with bodywork pushed against the tyre. And that lets Balfe back into the race lead as they come out of turn 3. So contact between second and third, and Mike Taylor, despite the damage on that left front corner, still hustling on, goes to the outside line. There's a big lock-up, more contact further back as slithering up the inside line was Gareth Thomas, and around goes Mike Taylor. So it's been a very checkered first lap for him, and now he's going to find himself at the back of the queue, out of all of which Tom Balfe leads the way, and he's trying to make good his escape, partly to get rid of the opposition and partly so they don't drive into him. Up towards the right-hander of Oggies they come for the first time, and then towards Bentley Straight. So from pole, Balfe leads the way. Dad Sean looking on from the pit wall, no doubt, watching all of this. And there, with smoke coming from the bodywork pushed against the Pirelli tyre, in second place is Harry Gamble. The Nottinghamshire driver accelerates down Bentley Straight, but I'll be a bit worried about that tyre. The more that smoke is there, more it means that the bodywork is still grinding against it, and ultimately it might go bang. A big effort being made on the inside line. James Nicholas goes through up into second place then in a rather patriotic car. So that puts him second, it puts Gamble down to third, and now we'll see what Nicholas can do about going after the race leader. He's third in the championship, James. He's had 5 wins this year. There's Mike Taylor's crumpled car getting back into the fray on the back of Lucy Hodgson's W2R entry as they come now down through Coreham, drop down to turn 12, up towards the end of the opening lap of the race. So Balfe leads the way, and then James Nicholas up into second place in hot pursuit. They come over the timing line, past the pits at the end of lap 1. Lucy Hodgson at the back of the queue goes through, but Tom Balfe leading by 1.2 seconds at the end of lap 1. Nicholas second, it's Gamble third, fourth in 51 is Jamie Cordell, and then you've got Gareth Thomas and Emma Tomlinson to round out the top 6. The leader of the Chairman's Cup at the moment is Julian Wantling, the former Brit car racer, aboard number 3, and that's another of the E3 Sport cars, Jim Edwards Jr.'s team. Jim Edwards, the dad of touring car racer turned broadcaster Jade Edwards, and there is the aforementioned Julian Wantling going out of the left-hander of turn 3 and trying to get onto the back of that long line of cars ahead, out of which Tom Balfe is getting away just a little bit. That margin is extending. Through they turn out of Agostini this time. There, number 42, a little bit further back is the car of Mike West. Now, replay of what went on at the hairpin on that first lap. So you've got Mike Taylor going to the inside, tries to get up the inside of Gamble, drives into him effectively, there's contact. Balfe gets forced out wide over the curb, but then is able to stand his ground on the inside, and he had the line for the next corner. You can see as the bodywork is pushed against the tyre, the smoke coming off the back of Gamble's car, and then of course 2 corners later, Mike Taylor had his spin, and that dropped him way back into 15th place. So Balfe up front, down to the S's. James Nicholas was second at the start of the lap, Harry Gamble third. And so the drivers then coming up now from Brundle and Nelson towards Bombhole. 63 there, which is Ali Jafali, whose sister Rima Al Jafali we used to see racing in this country in single seaters, now GT racer and team owner. And Ali Jafali following in her footsteps, coming into UK racing and looking also to end up in GT cars in the future. He's on the back of Julian Wantling there, number 3, Jafali for Elite Motorsport, but the leader, Sean Balfe's son Tom, comes over the timing line. Dad's on duty next. It's qualifying for the British GT Championship at Snetterton, and the McLaren that Sean drives, same colour scheme. Now the lead gap down a little bit, 11/10 of a second. That time around, James Nicholas doing the fastest lap of the race. So the gap reduced. In third place is Harry Gamble, there, still ahead of Jamie Cordell, and then behind is Gareth Thomas. So third, fourth, fifth having their own little battle, and that's just delaying, I think, Gamble enough so that he can't really go after James Nicholas. There is the fight for third. Gamble for Elite Motorsport, behind him, Jamie Cordell for E3 Sport. And then you've got Gareth Thomas, number 77, at the back of that little group, another of the W2R drivers, the former motorbike racer. out of Agostini goes Harry Gamble, a bit wide up the curb to say the least there. And then behind them in 6th place, Emma Tomlinson, who's got quicker and quicker over the last season and a half, and he's starting to close up a little bit onto the traffic ahead. Mike Taylor's progress after his spin, it's only netted actually 1 place of a gain at the start of this lap. He was up to 14th. We'll see what progress can be made around the rest of it. He's gained 1 more, up to 13th now. So Caudle and Thomas together head down the Bentley straight towards the S's. 14 minutes on the clock now. And Tom Balfe doing a good job here. He's got just about enough in hand, hasn't he? He's not looking overly concerned at the moment about James Nicholas behind him because he's not really near enough to make a move. Harry Gamble 3rd. I think that smoke has stopped now, so the bodywork has rubbed enough to be ground away, so it's no longer touching. And there is the race leader. So Tom Balfe comes out of Coram. James Nicholas hustled on last time to get the fastest lap of the race and to get a little bit nearer, but he needs some more good laps. There is the class-leading Emma Tomlinson. Up towards the timing line they come. And Balfe to Nicholas last time was 11/10. This time a 2.5 seconds, so it's gone up a little bit further. They're going through 6th is Emma Tomlinson. And up to 7th behind, look, is Ali Jafari. He's moved ahead of Julian Wantling. So I wonder whether 6th for Tomlinson might be in jeopardy before the end of the race here. Further back, Mike Taylor 13th on that lap. That's where he comes across the line with his next target being Peter Thompson, number 6, up from the back of the grid. There is Jafari for the Elite Motorsport team, and another in the rookie class, in other words, new to the cars this season. Jafari now down through the left-hand corner at turn 3, and then that short straight that loops you around the back of the paddock. Agostini up towards Hamilton, Oggies, Williams, Bentley straight. So corner after corner folded into the middle, the old infield of the Snetterton circuit. That's in turn given this nearly 3-mile length. And then you get back onto the old circuit, as it were, when you turn out of what used to be Sear, but is now the right-hander of Williams, and onto Bentley straight, coming up now, which used to be Revit straight, and then down towards Brundle and Nelson, which used to be the S's. 23 out of the corner. Harry Gamble wide up the curb there. Gareth Thomas. Thomas gets away with that. The property developer, another of the rookies. You see the novice cross on the back of the car, so new to the championship this year. That lead gap to the eye, looking a little bit less. In the first sector, 3/10 pull back by James Nicholas. He's having a real push now with 12 minutes of the race to go. That margin coming down and down. 63, Ali Jafari continuing to press on, chasing after Emma Tomlinson, and you can see how much that gap has come down over the course of the lap. He's absolutely flying. So Jafari, don't forget, was a little bit further back on the grid than really he should have been because of his 5-place grid drop, would have been 6th on the grid, so the pace is there, it's natural pace as well, and now he's working his way through that traffic and making amends. Well, the race leaders have gone by. Fastest lap to Nicholas. The gap is down to 1.2 seconds then. Balfe, Nicholas, Gamble, the top 3. And Jafari pulls out, has a look, pulls back in again, just trying to unsettle Emma Tomlinson as they go now down through Riches. There are the cars for 3rd, 4th and 5th, still as 1. And then for 6th place, it won't be long, I think, before Jafari is able to commit and make a move and go by. At the back of the queue, Lucy Hodgson getting a little bit distant, and a big, big slide from Jafari, even knocks on the indicator as he tries to control the slide, which he got away with, but that drops him off the back of Tomlinson a little bit. No question that Jafari is really, really trying hard here. Got that car by the scruff of the neck, but up front in the Gulf colours, Tom Balfe getting away as best he can, but James Nicholas, as the race wears on, getting stronger and stronger. Balfe's car, you see, bearing allegiance to Garage 59, for whom Dad drives in British GT with his McLaren. There, 3rd, Gamble, still under attack from Jamie Caudle, but as yet hasn't cracked. And despite that bit of rear damage, the car not really showing too many ill effects of that now. Up front, though, in the first sector, the gap was down by a further 3/10. James Nicholas now continuing to press on. Tom Balfe yet to win this season. Hasn't had a 2nd, hasn't had a 3rd, so a 1st podium. Sorry, he's had 1 2nd place, forgive me. A 2nd podium of the season beckons. But yet to be a race winner. He's going to have to work hard for it. There, second, James Nicholas goes through. And in the second sector of the lap, he was ever so slightly slower, only by hundredths, but he just dropped back a little bit. So the leaders come through with half distance completed. Another lap ticked off. And Tom Balfe in the W2R Want to Race team's entry goes through. The Palmer Sport Ginetta GT Academy Scholarship winner James Nicholas behind there, look, second, and then gap back to third, Harry Gamble. It's 11/10ths of a second. Last time around, only about a tenth in it between Balfe and Nicholas, and Tom Balfe, even though he was the slower of the two, did do a personal best lap. Harry Gamble is doing a very good job of withstanding the pressure. Having said that, makes a tiny little slip under braking. Tar smoke evident, goes wide through the corner, but he's able to regroup just in time to fend off Jamie Cordell as they come now down towards turn 3. Absolutely nose to tail, those two. Another slide from Gamble, and he's off the road this time, way out wide all over the curb, and Cordell says, thank you very much, that'll do me. Through he goes. There is a black and white driving standards flag for the man that's fifth, and that's 77 there, Gareth Thomas. So Cordell goes third, but then understeers a little bit deep out of the corner. Very wide again goes Gamble. Whether those two slides are a legacy of the early contact remains to be seen. It could just have been one error followed by another, but I do wonder whether with the contact, with the bodywork rubbing against the tyre, maybe as the race has worn on, all is not quite as good as it should be for Harry Gamble's car. He's down to fourth place now. Jamie Cordell third, and here he is, turning his way up out of the right-hander that brings you onto Bentley Straight. He's on the power and makes that run now down the straight towards the S's once more, and this is lap number 6. There is Jamie Cordell. Behind him is Harry Gamble, and then Gareth Thomas, who's eyeing up a chance to make his move, although the car just a little bit edgy there, going down through the first part of the S's. Thomas through bomb hole. 7.5 minutes on the clock now. There are the race leaders heading up towards the timing line. As they go through, Tom Balfe's advantage, and see whether it's grown. It's again 11/10ths and a 5-second penalty for Gareth Thomas. That's for track limit offences. This is the battle for 6th. It's Emma Tomlinson and Ali Jafali. That gap has come right down again, and it is 0.202 of a second as Jafali lines up to have a look on the inside but can't go through. Hard on the brakes up towards the hairpin goes Emma Tomlinson, and there is Ali Jafali looking to try to make that move coming off the corner. You go wide, you run deep, but it does get you up onto the curb and a little bit of traction coming off the corner. So Tomlinson fending off Jafali, at least for the moment. Julian Wantling is behind them in 8th, having fallen back a little bit really in terms of time. So 5-second penalty to Gareth Thomas, and I just wonder whether if Jafali can clear Tomlinson here, he might get within the 5 seconds and therefore gain another place. At the moment, 3.4 seconds is the margin between Thomas and Tomlinson, but if the quicker Jafali can find a way by, it could be a game changer before the end, and that's 6 minutes away. Now they turn up through the right-hander at Oggies. Williams is next at the end of Bentley Straight already, is the Balfe-Nicholas battle. In Sector 1, this time, Balfe the quicker of the two. So fighting back and getting closer and closer to a maiden car race win. There is Jamie Cordell keeping Gamble at bay. Thomas is next, and in fairness to Emma Tomlinson, ever improving, doing a very good job of keeping Ali Jafali behind her here because he's not yet been able to find a way by. He's caught up after those couple of mistakes and now back in the hunt. And now Thomas gets a further 5 seconds, making a 10-second penalty for him. So that really does throw him way, way down the order. A 5-second penalty to begin with, then another offence, which constitutes a 10. So tumble down the order he will post-race. We'll keep an eye on the clock when they take the checkered flag, and that's 5 minutes away as the leaders have gone through, with the margin now 1.6 seconds between there, the race leader, Tom Balfe, and there in second place, James Nicholas. Up to Wilson they go. This lap 8 out of the hairpin. Nicholas goes a little bit wide, finds the curb, at least gives him a little bit of traction coming off the corner, but drops a length also to Balfe, the race leader now. Is anybody else being warned about track limits? No, only Gareth Thomas seemingly, and Jafali still hasn't cracked Tomlinson, has he? So Emma Tomlinson for 6th place may well become 5th, or should become 5th indeed on corrected time. There is Julian Wantling. Now what about Mike Taylor's progress? The multiple race winner this year, 5 times a winner. He's really struggled to get through the traffic after his earlier spin. He's down in 12th spot, but just can't seemingly get through the traffic at all. Whether that's because of the damage on the front, you'll find out post-race, but that car just has not got the pace that it really you would expect it to have. There in the background, it comes into view still with that nibble taken out of the left front corner. Julian Wantling here is under attack from Mark Ellman, the British Hong Kong driver, as they come nose to tail up through Oggies. Wide goes Wantling, but Ellman has a slide of his own, so couldn't really capitalise on that. And now up towards Williams. Wantling will stay ahead. A little bit diffident about cutting back to get the apex, but he's okay coming off the corner as Ellman's car has another twitch. And that means he's just got to check the progress of the SVG Motorsport car before he accelerates down to the end of Bentley Straight. The 2 Brit car drivers then running together. And not that far behind, in number 12, is Paul Thomas, another of the W2R drivers. There he is. Lead Forensics on the side, his company, and another of the novice drivers into Ginetta Academy Racing this year. 3 minutes are on the clock now. So the race leader, Tom Balfe, has probably got time yet. He's just gone through for 2 more laps, this and 1 more. And there, showing the scars of battle from earlier on, is Mike Taylor. The grid for the 2nd race is based on your 2nd best qualifying time, which ought to get him up back towards the pointy end for tomorrow morning's race. Leaders go over the timing line. Tomlinson still hanging on to that 6th place on the road. And then Ali Jafali 7th, but they should both benefit from the time penalty for Gareth Thomas at the end here. Brake, turn into the hairpin. Back on the power. So Jafali presses on, makes that run now down to the next left with about 2 lengths maybe between him and Emma Tomlinson, whose car slightly twitches mid-corner there, has a sort of second bite at the apex. Jafali looking to try to get back onto terms. Go through the end of that first sector timing point, and of the 2 of them, Tomlinson fractionally the faster. So Jafali then up towards the right-hander of Oggies, and now needs a really good run off the next corner to get into the slipstream and try to make a move at the end of Bentley Straight, but actually isn't staying close enough. I rather thought, given his earlier pace, the way he got through the traffic, that he would be able to gobble up the cars ahead right the way to the end, but he's finding it harder to do so now that he's come up behind Emma Tomlinson. That car very well able at keeping him at bay. Jafali in his first season of racing. End of Bentley Straight though, race leaders, Balfe, Nicholas, Caudle remaining that top 3. And there'll be time for 1 more lap as there. Mark Ellman is on the outside of Julian Wantling. Gets it wrong under braking, goes deep into the corner. So Wantling hangs onto the place as they sprint now out of the S's. And a spin for Julian Wantling throws him right down the order. So Julian Wantling was ahead, but a little bit too much right foot too soon coming out of the S's. Loops number 3 around. And the net result is that the E3 Sport entry will drop way, way back down the order. He's back up and running, but that's going to put him right to the back, I fear. Let's have another look at it. It was Mark Ellman's car that challenged on the outside. He had a little bit of a deep run into the corner, and Julian Wantling just got the power down a bit too soon. Didn't hit the curb, it was all down to his right foot, that, and the back broke away. So around goes Wantling. He will try to rejoin, but many a place lost there as he waits for an opportunity to rejoin. Last lap, and Tom Balfe it is, up front then as he comes now down to the left-hander of Agostini. Round the back of the paddock here. 2 wheels up the curb, that's all good. Behind him is James Nicholas, who, try as he might, has never really been able to have a proper go for the race lead here against the man that's on target for a first win in the championship, and that is Tom Balfe. Through he comes. been a very impressive drive, this, and looking as though that maiden win is not that far away now. So Tom Balfe onto the back straight, the Bentley straight. Heading down towards the left-right of Brundle and Nelson. So Balfe ahead of Nicholas, and Jamie Cordle in third place has been another one falling away over those last few minutes of the race. That is Emma Tomlinson, who looks as though she might be able to hang on and keep Jafali at bay, because although he's close, he's not really close enough to start thinking about making a move. Into the braking zone they come now. That's Balfe. He's got a corner to go once he's exited Coram, and then the run up towards the checkered flag, the run up towards a win, and he will be absolutely delighted. It has been a very impressive drive as well. From pole to a race win, the fastest lap's going to go to James Nicholas behind, but it's a maiden win in the Ginetta GT Academy to a delighted Tom Balfe, who takes the checkered flag to win for the first time in his car racing career. Second to James Nicholas, and then some way back third is going to go the way of Jamie Cordle, fourth to Harry Gamble, and there the penalised Gareth Thomas, with Emma Tomlinson just about ahead of Ali Jafali as they cross the line. Not quite a dead heat between the two, and Tomlinson is going to be fifth, Jafali sixth, with that penalty given to Thomas. I wonder whether Mark Elman might benefit as well. Let's see. He does. He goes seventh, eighth in the end to number 33 of Mike Taylor. So Thomas ends up in 10th place. Gareth Thomas behind Paul Thomas. So very costly, that combination of time penalties, throwing him way down into 10th position in the end. So a good race for Tom Balfe, and now that the confidence has been unlocked, if you like, to take that victory, I wonder how many more we're going to get before the end of the season. There are two more opportunities for him to be a race winner this weekend. Two more races to come tomorrow in the Ginetta GT Academy, and they will have a race at 10:40 tomorrow morning, and then just after 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. But a good drive by Tom Balfe. He is victorious by, in the end, 1.9 seconds from James Nicholas. Jamie Cordle taking third. Fourth to Harry Gamble, and Emma Tomlinson fifth ahead of Ali Jafali. Mark Elman up to seventh. Mike Taylor recovered for eighth on corrected times, and Paul Thomas ninth, with Gareth Thomas's 15 seconds worth of penalties in the end, dropping him to 10th ahead of Mike West and Peter Thompson. Paul Lindsay was next from Amy Tomlinson, Julian Wantling after his rather time-consuming spin, and Lucy Hodgson at the rear of the pack. So a 1-2 for the W2R team, and a class win as well for the squad for Emma Tomlinson. Really impressive drive by Tom Balfe, despite the pressure being applied mid-race from behind, but he was able to combat that and comes through to score race honours. So congratulations to Tom Balfe for a maiden Ginetta GT Academy race win, and he's got two more opportunities to add to that winning tally tomorrow here at Snetterton.